Stay tuned for the most shadow banned channel on YouTube.
I'm doing this video for the fellow YouTubers out there and how they're doing advertising on their own channel. Not the YouTube inserts that YouTube does, but the sponsorships that you get. There's a problem and you're hurting yourself and you're hurting your sponsors. This deserves a good talk about. Hello anyone, I'm Scott Bain. They call me the old farmer. I understand that YouTube channels need a bit more money and therefore they get sponsorships in. I've had quite a few people try to get sponsorships on my videos, but until they meet my terms on it, which are very simple, and there's two ways of doing it. They have a free way of doing it, and then there's a way that costs a fee. I won't go into the details, but yes, it's out there, and if they want to meet those terms, we can sit down and talk to see whether I want to take the time of dealing with their sponsorship. But there are others out there that have had sponsorships for a long time, and they almost use their YouTube channel as a billboard for advertisers rather than for the topic that they're talking about. Again, sponsorships, I understand, that's not the problem. But let me go back and explain what happened one time. Mrs. Old Farmer and I, we don't watch over-the-air television, we don't watch cable television, we don't watch much television at all. But back when we were watching it, I remember in the greater Lansing area, we have Michigan State University, the Wharton Center. That's where plays are put on and concerts are done and things like that. In fact, David Copperfield did a show at the Wharton Center, and we enjoyed it very much. But they bring in, Wharton Center will bring in professional theater plays. For example, we went and saw Phantom of the Opera. The performance was very good, and we enjoyed it very much. But there was a time that the Wharton Center would go through and advertise an up-and-coming play, as they should. But it got to the point where they were oversaturating the market to the level that when their commercial comes up, I would jump to another channel. I did not want to hear about it anymore. I had enough. And it continued. Play after play that came through, they go through and just oversaturate the market. I understand why they're doing it, but it was the wrong thing to do. So I called up the Wharton Center, and I talked to their advertising department, and I've talked about this story before on YouTube, but I told them, you know, every time your commercial comes up for the Wharton Center, I jump channels. I don't want to hear it anymore. It's too much. It's so much that I do whatever I can to get away from it, which means I'm not going to spend $150 for a theater ticket. So not only am I jumping away from your advertisements, you're destroying any chance that you have of my wanting to see a particular theater performance. And this is what's happening on YouTube. I'm going to take Squarespace. Nothing against the product, the service that they're offering. It's a good service. But I think just about everybody knows everything about Squarespace. You're beating a dead horse here. You're to the point where you're driving people away rather than bringing them in. I think there's still things that you can do, and you can stay with a particular YouTube channels that you're advertising on. But I think the way that you're doing it needs to change. Because when Squarespace comes up in a video, I either jump over it or I go to another video. I know about Squarespace. I know what it does. I don't need to hear it the 1,000th time. But it's a good idea to keep your name out there. There's the difference. And then there's the YouTube channels that go on forever with an advertisement. I've occasionally will go through in time how long their advertisement is for the advertiser. And you guys got a cable mentality where half the time should be advertising, like on cable television. And, you know, I either jump over the stuff or I switch to another YouTube channel. Now, let me put a caveat out there, at least for me. If it's something new that I have no idea what it is, I'll watch it, and I'll watch it very critically to see if it would be something that I was interested in. But let's go back to Squarespace. How many could do the advertisement for Squarespace right now without having any copy in front of you? Okay? That is oversaturation. So YouTubers, if you're dealing with a sponsor that has a high profile and it's been established on YouTube channels, redesign your advertisements for those products. For those who like to do Gone with the Wind or War and Peace, War and Peace was 16 hours long. That's why I quite often reference something. Okay, you're giving me War and Peace. I don't want War and Peace. Give me what needs to be said. And tighten it up. If you have to record it specifically outside of your actual video, and many do, tighten it down tight. I'm not going to sit there and go through a 3-minute advertisement that you put on. The first time I will to get the information, but not the second or the rest of the time. Will not do it. And I think a lot of people who watch YouTube feel the same way. Now for my channel, what I have done, and let me know if you see otherwise, I don't allow YouTube to interrupt the video to insert commercials. Let me know if they do, because they're breaking their contract again if they're doing that. I'm taking the hits. I could make a lot more money on YouTube if I allowed advertisements within the video. And some of my videos, the thumbnails may not be the right thumbnails for explaining what's going on. For example, I talked about a couple of videos ago about how companies are destroying their brand names. It really didn't get any views. But yet it's a very important thing to understand. At least for me, I can't trust brand names anymore. There's some exceptions. Harbor Freight I trust. Do they make mistakes? Yes. I'm not against a company making a mistake. That happens. A faulty product should be between 1% and 2% where you have to go back on warranty. If it goes higher than that, then they're doing it wrong. But companies can make mistakes. And Harbor Freight does make mistakes at times. And if it's a bad one, I'll contact them with an email and say, hey guys, this is not the way to do it. And chances are when they see what I'm talking about, they'll agree. And they change it. They do listen to me. They won't send me any free tools, but they do listen to me. But advertisement, whether it's YouTube insert by YouTube itself or by the YouTuber getting an advertiser, you have to be very careful on what you're doing. You could be, and in many instances, you're harming the advertiser that you're out there to help. You're getting paid to get people to respond to their advertisements that you're doing within your YouTube. And what's happening is you're driving customers away. You'll get a few coming in, but you'll drive more customers away than what you bring in. And for the rest of us, it gets pretty doggone annoying that we either have to jump over these advertisements that we hear over and over and over and over and over and over. How many more times do you want me to say over? You get the point. Tighten it up, folks. That's what I'm saying. Tighten it up. Back in radio time with the radio dramas, 20s, 30s, and 40s, the advertisement was tied in humorous ways, so you actually wanted to hear the commercial because it was humorous. But that takes an effort to do things like that. In the end, what you want to do is do advertising for your sponsors in a way that people want to watch it. And overall, you're failing. And it's harming you, and it's harming the sponsor, and it's harming the viewer. Now, it's different from a review. You have a product out there that is a review. I quite often do Harbor Freight reviews of different tools. That is different. That is explaining whether the tool will do the job or not, and whether you like the tool, whether it's priced right. A review is different than advertising, even if it's a sponsored review. You say it's a sponsored review, and you roughly tell what the terms are. They provided the product, but they have no control over what you say. That's a good way of doing it. Or they provided the product and gave compensation above the cost of the product, but it's still, I have full control, editorial control of what I'm saying. Those are the ways of doing it when you're doing reviews. But in advertising, it's like what you see on TV. And you know how intrusive it is for television. And it's easy to jump a channel on television. It's even easier to jump a channel on YouTube. Let's redesign the way that you do sponsorships. It'll benefit everyone. The YouTuber, the advertiser, and the viewer.
Thank you for watching. And please be safe.
We'd sure appreciate it if you could subscribe and leave a comment. You know how YouTube behaves. They won't believe you watched a video unless you leave a comment. Also, it would help if you ring the bell and do a thumbs up. As you know, if I find a good channel, I pass it on to you. So if you think it's appropriate, it would sure help if you passed us on to your closest 10,000 friends and family. But above all, give a helping hand to someone today. It's the best gift to give. It'll make you feel good too.
Don't forget to click like, subscribe, share, or ring the bell buttons on the Original Old Farmer channel. We enjoy reading the comments that you leave, and they do help the channel, so keep them coming. And once again, thank you for watching The Original Old Farmer.
The VFW National Home for Children, providing families of veterans and active duty military opportunities for growth and development in a nurturing community. Please consider a donation to help their children and families. I.C. Rhodes speaking.